lack of proper record keeping. And that was why in 2003, the issue of computerization of the cadastral and land registry came into being. And my humble self happened to be the secretary of that tax team. And later on, AGIS was established and a central database was put in place. I know we fish out more than 10,000 double allocation cases. But these are not all double allocation cases, because there are areas where the cadastral zones or districts are mixed. The issue of computerization brought out all these problems at fore, and we were able to look at them and remove the real double allocation cases from the issue of double plot numbering. To Senator Sahabi Abdullahi, you seem to allude that the FCT policy on land seems to be anti-poor. Well, it will still go back to the issue of resettlement. In the past, in the past 30 years, there has been policy inconsistencies. We started with complete resettlement. We moved on to partial resettlement. We move on to integration. That's why places like Garki village and Utako are still residing in one place. And now we don't know exactly where we are. I believe until proper resettlement policy are brought into bear, is either we take a stand to do complete resettlement program or do integration before we can be able to solve the problem of resettlement issues. So long as we don't do that, so long as the indigents are remaining where they are bound to expand, they are bound to grow, they cannot be static, and people will come to reside with them. And if you don't take care of them, definitely people will start building up shanties, and that's why the issue of demolition comes into place. There are cases where these issues are clearly illegal structures. Any building within the FCT, because the FCT Act says no building should take place in the FCT without approval of the approving authority, and the FCDA and Development Control are in charge of those things. So unless the issue of resettlement, in my own view, unless the issue of resettlement is properly addressed, you cannot run away from the problems of haphazard development and shanty development. Then that of fake certificates. I know it is an issue that is a factor of pressure on land. Many people believe they can make a living in the FCT. And many people believe that real property development is a legitimate means of earning a legitimate income, and therefore they could make a living. So certain people are bound to and are always looking for a way, no matter how it is, whether it is legal or illegal, to own a property here. So to that extent, people, some were willing to fake this certificate. But anybody that finds himself involved in getting a fake certificate should also have himself to blame a little. With the central database in AGIS, every information about every plot of land is embedded there. Nothing stops you from getting an estate surveyor or a legal practitioner that is specializing in conveyancing to do a search. The search fees are not much. So if you don't do a proper search and you get yourself involved, definitely you are bound to have fake title. But I can assure you that in the FCT now, if you go to the land registry, you'll be able to differentiate the fake paper from the original, because the papers that are used in producing the CFO are from the secured Nigerian printing, minting, and printing and minting company. Therefore, they are properly in place. So any fake paper can always be detected unless somebody fails to do a proper search. As to my the question by Senator Danjuma is talking about the long service. Okay, Yes. Well, the issue of long service award, I think Senator Danjuma should earn that also, because he was a staff of the FCT just like me. And I don't know what type of award he wants. I believe probably he's talking about land allocation. And it is the prerogative of the Minister of FCT to decide which type of award he's going to give. Should it be monetized or should it be a land allocation? It depends on what people want at a particular time. But if I have my way, if the plots are there, there is no reason why somebody who has lived all his life in the FCT cannot be given such an honor. And then the next, Senator Abubakar, Abdurrahman Abubakar, you talked about policies that could be put in place to change. If the FCT is to be brought into a proper perspective, I think the most important thing that one could do to effect a change is to look at the master plan of the city of the FCT and the regional development plan. This document were produced more than 35 years ago. I know the master plan was approved in 1979, the regional development plan was approved in 1981, but none of these policy documents have ever been revised. And the master plan cannot be static. Or ideally, a revision should take place every 5 years. But we have a situation where for the past 35 years, no major revision has taken place. I believe if we do that and look at the issue of resettlement properly, we can move the FCT forward and the nation.
You should take a bow. Nominee, come and take a bow. Senate Leader. Motion to report progress.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that we revert to plenary to report progress.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that we revert to the plenary. I so second.
I'll put the question. Those in favor that we report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. By report progress. Chief Whip.
You've been watching proceedings, the Senate screening ministerial nominees. We have had just 12 of them screened today at the floor of the Senate. Most prominent will be that will be Hajia Amina Ibrahim Mohammed, the Special Advisor to the United Nations Secretary General on post-2015 development plannings. She basically spoke about the MDGs and, of course, the SDGs, that's the Sustainable Development Goal, and how Nigeria can position its development plan around that to ensure that education, areas of security, areas of health can be further strengthened to improve the living standards of the people of Nigeria, which is basically what the Sustainable Development Goals is aimed at achieving. She's not the only one. Just after she spoke, we also had Suleiman Adamu, Alhaji Suleiman Adamu. He also spoke about quite a number of issues, and he's been pinned to likely take over the portfolio of labor and productivity. And he was quizzed on how he would take that advantage to improve the employment generation campaign drive of the federal government, and also perhaps water resources and how adequate supply of water can be achieved in Nigeria.
This has been a Live Channels television event.